In today's anime last time video, I'm doing a tier list with every single unit in the game for like, you know, each section or whatever. You know how tier list works. If you don't, then it's quite self-explanatory. When you see it, you see it. So stay tuned for the video and also subscribe to the channel. Trying to hit 25,000 subscribers. Why? Because at 25k I get a code unit. And also like the video. If we hit 500 likes, I'm going to do a 50 reroll giveaway, like I've said multiple times. But it has to be within 24 hours of me dropping the video. And also go join my Discord server down below if you haven't already. And follow me on TikTok and follow me on Twitch. I stream on Twitch and YouTube, and I think that's pretty much it for the promotions. Let's just get straight into the tier list. If you've never seen any of my tier lists before, I go tier by tier, so I don't put them all on the screen at once because I didn't want to make my video a little bit longer. Plus, it's kind of hard to explain with them all being on the screen. But what I don't do is like manually select each one. I've already done that, so don't worry about that. But basically, if you don't see a unit here or for the rest of the tier list, that means they're absolute dookie, so they're not going to be at the tier list at all. So don't worry about them. But alright, it's units that may be decent in story, maybe when you first start the game, but they're really nothing too special and you definitely want to use them in the future. Or you don't need to be specifically going for them. Maybe Uri if you're struggling. He doesn't look, he's actually a pretty good legendary. I mean, if you first start out the game, it's alright, but that's pretty much it. Okay, here we go. Good. Now all of these units are good. They're not necessarily meta, and you don't really need them to be anything that's like you need meta units for, I guess. So they're not necessarily meta, but they're pretty good. I mean, Genesis is very good for a new player. So a unit is quite cheap to place and it's a decent A unit. Same with Sukuna, same thing applies. Goji is a decent one, I guess. They're all just good. And Okuma got nerfed, that's why he's not in meta anymore. I mean, until he gets Evo, then that's a different story, I guess. But for now, he's just where he is, I guess. I think it's quite self-explanatory. And if you did have to summon for a couple units of this good tier, it's probably just Genos and maybe Sukuna, because you need the Evo Sukuna, which I talk about later on. And the core unit is free, so yeah, just get Genos, get Sukuna, because you're gonna need to Evo Sukuna, and Genos is just decent. Okay, so this is going to be a whole yap session when it comes to supports, because there's so many supports in the game. So I'm going to need to explain what is going on in the support section. So we also have the new Gojo, which I'm going to talk about first because that's the one probably people want to know most about. So basically Gojo, this the unlimited void time stop. It actually does have decent damage too. His line AoE when he gets on placement and for a couple upgrades actually full AoE, which is quite nice. There's a decent amount of damage, not too much, nothing too insane, but for supporting is quite good, just like Gon. And he also does the time stop. So he's probably the best support in the game at the moment, just because he does damage and he does the time stop. Maybe you can argue, yeah, farms are better, whatever. It's not that serious. The supports ranking is not that accurate because it's supports and they all do different things, so they all have different purposes, things like that. But what I will say is, if you don't need to get multiple Gojos. Like, you don't need to have an Evo and unevo one. You can if you want, but you don't really need it. Just have one Evo one and call it a day. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about Gojo. And if I was to recommend what units to get, I highly recommend, if you're trying to beat the game, should become a top tier player, whatever, you're trying to beat the game, should become pro, whatever, I'd recommend you should get every single support in the game. These are all the sports in the game pretty much. I don't think I'm missing any. If I am, let me know in the comments, but these are pretty much every single sport in the game. I'd recommend just get all of them if you're trying to be a pro. But if you're a new player and you want to know which one you should prioritize, so if you first start the game, you want to get Escanor. Why? Escanor is very easy to obtain. So is Asta. Don't really need to go for Luffy. I'd actually put Asta above Luffy in my opinion. So switch that around. And then the best farm in the game is Speedwagon. You know, Speed Cut. So you get a Speed Cut. And then you can get Gon. Then, and make sure you also get Ruka and Zenitsu before that, because the lower rarity. And then you can just get Idol and you can get whatever else is missing. But yeah, I recommend just get all the sports trying to beat the game, because like right now there's not too much in the game, so you might as well get it over and done with before there's too much in the game. You get confused, you get baffled, whatever, because at the end of the day you need all these supports. But at the moment there's not a specific desire to use supports all the time, if I'm being honest, in the game, since the content isn't insanely difficult. Maybe some of the challenges and stuff you use the supports, but realistically you don't really need supports at the moment unless you do infinite. And like, it's just like not insanely needed, since there's no like legend stages or hard raids and things like that at the moment. So just get them, and then when you need them you can just use them instead of having to get them later on, because you might as well just get them while there's not too much content in the game. Now, meta air / hybrids were against interesting. Now, before I say anything, I highly recommend you get Saber and Sukuna Evo 100%, and then get Ferrum Alchemist and Baldi afterwards. But people are gonna debate whether Saber's better or Sukuna Evo's better. Now, two things I will say why Saber and Sukuna, like I put Saber above. Keep in mind they're very, very close in damage, and it kind of also depends on the trait that you get of them. So if you get Avatar and Sukuna, then Sukuna's better. If you get Saber with Overlord or Shinigami, then it's better than your Sukuna if the Sukuna doesn't have Avatar. And if no traits, then Saber's better, because you can place multiple and your Sukuna can only place one. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, they're quite similar, they're quite equal in my opinion. They're not too far off from each other, but one is easier to obtain than the other. Sukuna is quite RNG based, like very RNG based, and you have to keep grinding the challenges to evo him. Even though the mythic is easy to obtain, you have to actually get the evos. But then if you just get Celestial P, you just get Saber straight away. So that's why Saber is a little bit higher, but pretty much look at them as equal. Obviously on tier list there's no like equal sign or something. So just look at them as equal, because they both, you'll use both every single time. Like if you're doing an infinite run, use both. If you're doing this, you use both, use both, because they're both using the same kind of scenarios. Sometimes you actually will use Sukuna over Saber in certain scenarios. So because you can actually, Sukuna's like a hybrid on placement. So maybe Sukuna's higher, but in some scenarios, Saber's higher. So just keep that in mind and actually listen to what I'm saying rather than just go into the comments straight away, start typing up. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, I think they're quite equal. Maybe one's better than the other scenario, one's better than the other scenario. The Flame Alchemist and Baldy, they're pretty good, but they're not on the level of Sukuna and Saber at the moment. And if you were new to the game, I would say get Sukuna first because he's a mythical, and then just evo him, and then get Saber along the way. And then you can get the other two when you want to complete the game because you're at the end game and whatever. Now, Metaground has not changed, and most of you already know what's going to be in Metaground. Now, Yami can actually be classed as a support, so that's why it's a little bit high in Metaground, but plus, the ground use of the game is not too insane. Some of you may argue, oh yeah, Itachi's over Yamamoto. Yamamoto does more DPS, but I know Itachi has more range. So maybe they're equal, maybe Itachi's over. I'll keep that, like, as a fair point. But at the end of the day, they're not too big of a difference, and you're going to use them in the same scenarios. So it's not an insane difference. Maybe if you get the traits and stuff, then it's like it's not too insane difference. But what I really want to be looking at is Yami and Black Swordsman. You definitely want to be getting Yami, Dark Captain, and you definitely want to be getting Black Swordsman. Black Swordsman is one of the best DPSs in the game. Actually, with the new addition of Saber and Sukuna, not the best, but still at the top 500%. Yami is one of the best story units of the game because you can place him down straight away and does a decent amount of damage with low SPA. So definitely want to get Yami, and then Itachi and Yamamoto, you can get them whenever you feel like it. You know what I mean? But I think that's pretty much it. So just get the units as said, and then you pretty much want to collect every single unit in the game anyways, just for the collection's sake, you know what I mean? So just try to get as many units as you can that's in meta. Then yeah, because then you won't need to get them later on, if that makes sense. Like, because at some point there's gonna be so many units in the game, if you already have most of them, you don't have to go get them back later. But just get the units as said. If you got any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. But I'm not trying to extend this tier list anymore. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. 25k subscribers equals a code unit. 500 likes in this video within 24 hours equals 50 reroll giveaway. Go join my Discord server down below to ground with others on trading comps that you can trade in there. Chat with others. Comment down below if you got any questions, need any advice, or if you got any of your opinions of your own. Do let me know in the comments. I'll take it as criticism, as long as you're not just like straight up like crazy hating, I guess. But yeah, keep in mind this is just my opinion. It's not insanely accurate, but I would say it's too far not accurate. But yeah, it's been Rexon. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you guys did find it useful. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.